Hello and welcome to Hospitality Mythbusters Banter with Omar, the Energizer.
And yes, the practical philosopher.
Brilliant. So, Omar, what are we talking about and why are we doing this? What are we doing? I'm lost.
What are we doing? We're going to bust some myths. That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
I've got a good myth. We can start for the very first Mythbuster, which is the customer is always right.
Is it the customer, is he or is it a she?
Oh, they can be either. Non-specific, non-gender specific, you name it. But it's a customer or many customers. Are they always right?
Are they always right? Well, first of all, you've got to ask yourself, well, who is the right customer? So not all customers are right because they need to be the right customer for you and your business.
For your brand, yeah.
So we can't always serve everybody. And actually, if we think about those most successful businesses, they're very clear on who the right customer is and who the right customer is not, or who the wrong customer is. So who can we serve, or who do we want to serve, and who do we not want to serve? So when we say the customer is always right, it depends on who the customer is.
So let's think of this. You've got a hotel, a restaurant, a nightclub, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have communicated who you want to be your customer, and someone turns up that is not the right customer for your brand. Mm-hmm. Can you educate them? Can you train them to become the right customer?
Well, if you've done your marketing and sales right, hopefully the person who's walking through your door is your right customer, because you've targeted that customer, you've niched towards that customer. You've identified who is it that we want to serve, who do we want walking through our doors.
But in hotels we have walk-ins, right? So the way I see it is this. I agree with you in terms of the brand and you try to do everything to make sure that you get the right customer. But even if you get the right customer, is that customer always right for what they demand?
I would say no.
Okay, we're reaching an agreement. Let's bust this myth. So what I say to my friends, colleagues, students, professionals, whatever, is this: that the customer might not always be right, but they don't have to necessarily know it. Okay, so, and I give examples of where you get customers where in your bar, if they drink too much, it is also your responsibility to stop them and not give them more alcohol, right? But in their mind, they're right. They want to drink more. They've got the money. They pay to get more alcohol.
So here's the problem. The minute we get into, is the customer right? Then the other flip side of that is there's an assumption that if they're not right, then they're wrong. No. We will have customers come into our hospitality establishments and they have a perspective, they have a view in which we need to respect. We may not agree with it, or we may not be gearing up our service towards meeting that expectation, because that's just not how we've defined our brand. So it's not to say that the customer is wrong in that sense, and we are right. No, we are just very clear on who we want to serve, and we have set up our standard operating procedures towards that. We have a sequence of service that delivers according to the customer that we want to serve, which is in line with their expectations. That's why they're walking through our door. So if we make the assumption that the customer is always right, then that means we're making the assumption that we are wrong in that case. No.
I like also the flip coin that you presented about, if they're not right, doesn't mean they're wrong. And I think how you deal with any scenario is important, and how even the case that I gave where the customers want to have a drink, but you figure they're tipsy toes drunk and you're not supposed to. How do we deal with making them not feel little, not feel wrong, do the right thing, both for them and for your business, so they come back again? Because if you do it the wrong way, that's it. You've killed the relationship. But if you put a little bit more effort, if you like, then you might have even educated that customer. And that brings me to social media as another example of case study where where a customer, you know, it's very easy nowadays for a customer to go and post a negative comment. And a lot of small businesses either will respond very defensively or not at all. So I'd say that this is your opportunity to educate your customers. This is your opportunity to showcase your brand, who you are, and what it is that you're selling. Yeah, even if you're a hotel, you're selling something different depending on what kind of a hotel you are. But always try to respond in a way that shows, because even if you do a one-on-one communication behind the scenes, part of the response on social media is to show other customers that you're not ignoring your customers, I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I think it's about being very clear on what your guest proposition is. What's your value proposition? And once you're very clear on what your service proposition is, you can stand behind it. Let me give you a practical example. So, Yanis, one time I was called when I was working within hospitality and within hotels. So let me contextualize it. And the GM said to me, listen, we've tried everything to satisfy this customer. And they keep complaining. We've moved their room. We've offered them a free drink. We've given them complimentary breakfast, and nothing seems to be enough. And, you know, I don't know what else to do. What do you suggest? So I said, okay, here's the deal. Let me go and have a word with them. So I went to go and speak with them, and I sat down with them, and I said, I understand that, you know, we're not able to, it seems that there has been some confusion, there seems to be some problems that have arisen, and I just want to be clear. I introduced who I was, and I just said, listen, one of the key service philosophies that we have is about ensuring that our guests are 100% satisfied. And in that context, and our goal is to make sure that you have the best possible experience with us. So it's clear, and what I understand from the rest of the team is that we've moved your room, we've given you complimentary breakfast, we've offered you a complimentary drink in the bar, but it seems that we're failing at every angle. So may I suggest we help you find a hotel that could meet your needs, because it's important to us. And I was very sincere in this. I wasn't patronizing. I was very sincere in the fact that genuinely, if we cannot serve you and meet your expectations, then listen, let's help us find a hotel that can.
What happened with the end of this particular scenario? Can you share?
I said that, they said no, you know, that there's no need for that. You're absolutely right. They've bent over backwards for us. No, we are happy here. We just had some teething problems when we first checked in. Okay. So it's about, you know, standing behind your philosophy, standing behind your service, and not being shy about it. Saying, listen, we are about making sure that you are 100% satisfied with the service you receive. No different. If you're in a restaurant and I say to you, you're the waiter, Yanis, I'm not happy with my pasta. Yeah. And you say to me, well, what can I do to improve it? And I say to you, nothing.
This is another one, right? Sometimes doing nothing is actually a strategic decision. People forget that doing nothing sometimes can be a strategic decision. But going back to this notion of, and it's good to try to think of all the angles, the notion of wrongness and whether they are wrong. Are there cases where a customer is wrong? Let's also approach that. And there have been cases of, especially now with social media and influencers, who write to hotels and say, or restaurants, you know, let me dine for free, or I'll come and stay for 2-3 days, and I have X thousand million whatever followers they have. And there was one particular case where it got quite a lot of attention, where the hotelier quite rightly wrote back, had enough of all the influencers saying just want a free night, and wrote quite an eloquent response about, you know, the hotel does have a lot of bills to pay, staff to pay, and what have you. So I think it's also important that we are prepared that sometimes the customer is wrong.
Yeah.
Because that has to do with their motivation of what, and in this case of what you gave us, at least the motivation was not a negative motivation where they want to get something free no matter what. But we have those kind of customers these days because the power has shifted from the days where we started in hospitality, where there was no let's not forget, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these platforms are very, very young. So the power between the marketeer and the customer has shifted. Customer has a lot of power these days, and they try, some of them, not all of them, thank God, try to leverage that. So I guess we need to include that into any educational program, training programs, development programs, and maybe we've got enough examples of busting this myth. Is there anything else we've left out?
No, I mean, I think, you know, the key myth is the customer. The question is the customer always right? The question is, no, they're not always right, but it doesn't mean that they're wrong as well. In that case, because it's not a right or wrong situation. It's a situation of, it's an expectation, it's a perception. So when the customer is upset, or are they upset because we didn't meet their expectation, or because they didn't receive the level of a service they expected to receive? It doesn't make us wrong.
Yeah.
It's like when the customer, did we do something wrong?
Also, we got to think about what we said, and as a summary at the end is like, ask yourself the question when if a customer ever tells you the customer is always right, in the back of your mind ask, is that person the right customer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the key thing.
Okay, well, I think we've captured a lot of this. If there are any comments, other thoughts, people can add their comments on the video below.
Yeah.
Please share, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, but also tell us if you have any other questions around delivering on customer service or customer excellence, because we can bring those to the table.
And any other myths that you want us to attempt, we shall try to capture as many as possible.
Great.
Thank you, Omar.
Okay, thank you, Yanis.
Okay.